Hey, I'm testing out this MAVEN Rangefinder. It's the 725 or 7x25 5-4500 yard rangefinder. And I already did the open box on it, but I'm out here testing it now to see how accurate it is. We are in hunting season here in Colorado, and I'm not hunting today, but I'm just out here to test this rangefinder. And I've already sighted in and ranged in on several buildings, lighter buildings, darker buildings, different distances away. So I'm going to finish this video up back in the studio and I'll summarize what I find out, because I know exactly where I am and I know where these houses and barns and structures are at. So I'll be able to tell you how accurate it is. Now, it is an overcast night. You know, well, it's mostly cloudy. The sun's just setting. It is 5:30 Mountain Time here, just south of Denver, Colorado. And I'm, filming, or I'm shooting in this light here. And MAVEN actually says that it's better to shoot, or the ranges will be more accurate when it's cloudy, a little bit darker. I guess full sunlight, it's maybe not as accurate. That might be another test I do someday, looking at how I can come back out here and range in on something when it was cloudy versus it's sunny. And tomorrow, if it's sunny, I'll actually do that. I'll come back out here and do the range again and compare the distances. But I just want to let you know what I'm doing. So I was going to wrap this video up tonight, but I'm not going to now. I'm going to come back tomorrow, midday, full sunlight, and hopefully there's no clouds in the sky, and then I'll be able to finish up this test. So another thing I'm doing right now is I'm actually testing out the MAVEN S.1 spotting scope. I'll have information up on the screen, and I already did the out of box on this one, so check that out right here. And I've got information in the description below. So I'm actually out here, because this has a magnification on it, I'm actually out here looking for bucks coming out, and I can help locate them. And then once I find the buck, then I can come over here, zoom in on it with the spotting scope, and see how well it does. So I'm doing 2 tests today, but this first one is with the rangefinder. All right, the next time you see me, I'll be out here midday tomorrow, and I'm gonna take some more range shots with this, hopefully full sunlight, and then I'll come back and I'll wrap up this video. 5:55, I got a mule deer. Can't tell if it's a buck. And normally those does travel together, but I've got one at 555 yards. I'm going to turn my spotting scope around and see what it looks like with this. So I found my first deer of the night, but it is a doe, I believe. But that's why I'm going to use this scope here, the spotting scope. Well, right over there is Dawson's Butte, and there's a big open space trail, and I actually do a lot of my videos over in that area for Hiking Emergency Beacon. If you haven't checked out Hiking Emergency Beacon, I do all kinds of videos, field tests on satellite communicators, or some people call them satellite messengers. So when you're outside of cell service and you need to get help, SOS or two-way message, sometimes you can even see maps and navigate. I review those all the time. So check out Hiking Emergency Beacon. There's information on the screen, and there'll be information in the description below. Oh, I've got some deer. Okay, just like that, I've got some mule deer out in the pasture there. Let me range in on them. They're in between me and the house. Again, I'm not hunting. I am just testing. Looks like they're 460, if I could keep this steady. Yeah, they're heading to that house right now. 450, 475 yards, 460 if I can keep this steady. I'd like to see if there's any bucks around. Looks like it's 4 or 5 mule deer, a couple young ones. I think it's great to use both of these. Honestly, I think it's best if I'd like to have a pair of binoculars. So when I'm out here, and like I said, my eyes used to be 20/20 and better, but now I'm out here, my eyes are getting a little bit worse. So it'd be nice to be able to have the binoculars, be able to, be able to look at the wider area real well, and without closing my eye all the time. And then if I see something, then I can go to my rangefinder, or I can go to the spotting scope And I think that's just a great combination. Oh, there's some more deer right here. Surely it's not the same two. No, there's more. And they are 3 does. Sometimes there's more than that. But it's like they weren't here not very long ago. They just, all of a sudden, they just come out. They've been bedding down, probably in the creek over there. There's a bunch of places where there's trees, a forest. See if I can keep my focus on this big field. I guarantee you these bucks are gonna come out in this field. Everything I've learned from Mike is these bucks, all these deer will bed down during the day and they're nocturnal. And then they come out at evening time to feed in these wheat fields, or could be hay, but they come out where these fields are at and then they start feeding at night. And then when the sun comes up, they start heading back to sleep during the day, and where they're protected. Oh, it's found another mule deer. I was looking up in the Rocky Mountains farther away. This was just a nice doe. I was looking around way up in the mountains, and then I came back and looked down here, and here's a mule deer walking across the field. See if I can range this mule deer. Oh, no, I think that's the same group. They must have walked around. 700 yards, 680, 690. The one in the back, 700 yards away, it's a little bit farther. Got a couple more mule deer. About 700 yards away. Oh, there's a loner out there. Could be a buck. A lot of times those bucks like to hang out by themselves. Now I have seen anywhere from 4 to 6 or 7 bucks hanging out together. So it's not always true. Oh wait, is that a buck? Sure is. I got a buck right here. Let's range that thing because he's right by that house. It's quite a distance. 1,184 yards, 1184. See if he has any friends, or see if I can tell how big he is. He's at least a 6. I think he's got 4 on each side, so that makes him an 8. I can see his butt really good, but I can see one side of his rack. He's at least an 8-pointer. Let's see if he has any friends around. It pays to come out early in the morning before daybreak and then come out before the sun sets. That's when they're moving. Oh, there's another buck. Oh, there's 3. Yeah, there's 3 bucks. That one in the rear. Oh, he's at least he's a 10. Can't confirm it. He's pretty big. Yeah, he's a really nice buck. They're 1,100 yards away. Yeah, there's one right there to the right of the house. They're all bucks. And there's 2 right here. It's just hard to see. It's hard to keep it steady. And the one in the rear, well, I can't tell if they've moved one, but one of them, I think he's a 10-pointer. Again, it's just a lot easier to see through the scope rather than trying to take a video here. All right, I'm back out here in direct sunlight. I don't think there's really a cloud in the sky. And I'm going to range these objects again, these structures. Mostly they are barns and little sheds. I won't be showing you any houses just for privacy concerns. But let me check out and see how this ranges in sunlight compared to last night when it was cloudy and the sun was setting. Let's see how it works. All right, it's 599 yards to that lean-to on the far right. 1,603 yards. But that's what I'm seeing when I look through here. I can see the range, I can see the target, and I can change the brightness. And then I can range all over the place, up to about 2 miles max. Now this one here, I'm focused mostly into the sun. I'm looking at a barn. 1910. All right, I have rechecked the range to all my targets. Last night it was cloudy and the sun was setting over the Rockies. Today, full sunshine and it's about 10 o'clock. And I've checked everything. I have ranged on smaller, brighter targets to darker brown targets to some larger white and brown on both sides into the sun and away from the sun. So I'm going to get back inside into the studio and I'm going to check all these ranges compared to how it was last night when the sun was setting to today when it's full sunlight. And I'm going to see if there's a difference in those ranges between the darker versus lighter. Plus, I'm going to see if there's a difference in the ranges between what Google Maps shows and what this shows. Hopefully they're really close. I'll see you back inside in the studio in just a few minutes. We'll wrap this up. Okay, let's wrap up this test real quick with this MAVEN Rangefinder. Again, it's the 5x 4,500 yard rangefinder. And by the way, just to remind you, this is the MAVEN spotting scope. I've done reviews on that. It'll all be in the description below. So when I went out and I tested this rangefinder, and I tested it last night, and the sun was starting to set. It was an overcast sky. And MAVEN says in their manual that the ranges or the accuracy will be a little bit better in that situation. Now, it wasn't really cloudy, but it did start to set. The sun started to set later, but I was still doing my range finding test when the sun was still up, just over the top of the Rocky Mountains. So I looked at that, and then today I went out and I tested it with full sunlight on the same objects, and then I came back inside and I looked at Google Earth, and I then took a straight line shot to each one of those objects. And I'm telling you, I've got a spreadsheet. I'm going to put it up on the screen. It was very accurate. The lowest accuracy was 99.1%. Most of the accuracy, I think, was probably more like 99.5% to 100%. And you can see all that. So in the distances and the tests and the different lighting conditions where I tested it, it was really accurate. Most of the time it was off by 1, 2, or 3 yards. But that could have been me, because where I was picking the point on Google Maps to the object, to the face or the front of the object, and maybe I was off by a yard or two. So given the chance for error on my part, basically I would have to say plus or minus 0.1 or 0.2%. It's very accurate. I mean, I would say 99.9%, 99.8%, right on target in both lighting conditions. So I've been really impressed with this. I didn't realize how accurate it was. Now, I wasn't able to get out more than about 2,000 yards. That would take some additional tests, but I think the farthest I got out was about 1,900 to 2,000 yards. I'll test that a little bit more in the next 2 weeks when Mike and I go out to the Miramonte Reservoir and we're going fishing. We're not hunting out there, but it'll still be a great time, a great location to test these more. All right, if you haven't seen it already, check out the open box on the MAVEN spotting scope, and then I'm going to have the field test on the spotting scope also, and it'll go up right after this field test on the rangefinder. But that information on the open box for the spotting scope is right here, and it'll be in the description below. There's a playlist for each of these, and there's a MAVEN Optics playlist. Check that out. If you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, please let me know, because I am at the beginning of testing these, and I have some more field tests to go. but I really would like to hear your comments and suggestions and any tips that you might have. If you like what you're seeing and you're getting value out of this, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as Mike and I put out new videos. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you back out here in the next video.